Hello, thank you again for joining me. This is the concluding part for the curriculum, your role in my role, and concluding part for the teacher. So we're looking at this. The particular stakeholder we're focusing on is the teacher. We're also going to look at school leaders. We're also going to look at parents, and we're going to look at policy makers. Okay, so for now our focus is the teacher, and this is the concluding part for the teacher. If you're just seeing me for the first time, my name is Joyce Gomina. I am an educator, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm an education consultant. I train, I coach teachers, I work with schools, I work with different education stakeholders, students, parents, policymakers, leaders. I also advocate for education technology. I'm an education technology consultant, an expert, and advocate. So the reason why I really advocate for technology in education is because I believe that we can work smarter, we can scale up whatever we are doing, we can, just improve on what we are doing using technology, improving efficiency and all of that. We've been looking at the curriculum, your role and my role. We've looked at the curriculum as the total experience of a learner, everything that contributes towards the learning of a student, the learning experience, the environment, the systems, the people, the structures, the classroom teaching itself, the teachers, all of it, everything that goes on in the school. Students learn from how you take care of your environment, how you respond to issues, how you treat your teachers, how you appear when you come to school, your outlook and all of that. Everything together makes up the curriculum, not just a scheme of work or a list of topics. And we also talked about how the curriculum seeks to do three things, and we put it in an acronym. It's a known acronym, ASK. A for attitude. It seeks to make sure that the students or the learners or any learner has the right attitude, the right mindset, the right perspective of life, and the right skills, acquires the right skills, relevant skills that they need to thrive, whether soft skills or hard skills, and also knowledge, the knowledge about the world, global issues, academic knowledge, and all of that. So all of it together, because the whole idea is to raise a total child individual that understands their role in the society, in the family, in the job market. All of that together is the curriculum. Is what the curriculum seeks to achieve. Okay, and then we've looked at, for the teacher, we started by addressing teachers who find themselves in the school or in the classroom by accident and are just passing time. What's their role in the curriculum? I advise you watch previous episodes. I'm sure you'll be able to catch up on that. And we've given several tips and admonished such teachers on what they can do in understanding their role and in fulfilling it. Then generally now we're looking at the role of the teacher, and to look at the role of the teacher in the curriculum, one of the things we've done is to just pick different roles in society to relate it to the role of the teacher in the curriculum, so that we're able to connect to their roles better. So we've looked at the lawyer who breaks down complex content into understandable, lessons. So as the lawyer, they break down, just like the lawyer will break down the law, the complex part of the law, and interpret it in a way that the commoner and every person, every person can understand it. That's the same way the teacher will take their scheme of work, which is an aspect of the curriculum, will take their subject or their lesson and break it down in a way that students understand complex content, and they are able to advocate for clarity, which is part of what lawyers do, and justice in learning, ensuring that students grasp the rules, the role of grammar, the rules in maths and science, and its applications, so they know when to apply it, where to apply the exceptions to each of the rules and all of that. And as a coach, how they help to support learners' growth, how they encourage resilience, practice, and progress. They don't give up on their trainee. They make sure that their trainers can achieve their training goals. So the same way you help students to be able to achieve their academic goals and personal goals, right? We looked at the role of the gardener, ensuring the right environment for the different kind of seeds or different kind of learners that they have, and how you make sure that you bring the right resources that is needed, and you create the right environment that they need to grow, because rice will not grow in the same environment with pawpaw. So you need to make sure that all of that is in place. We looked at the incendiaries, who sparks curiosity and the love of learning, ignites passion, get the students to be excited about learning, to think deeply, and to be curious, to explore. The architect, as a teacher, we say you plan and build the structures of learning. You should plan and build and design the structures of learning. Make sure that there's a good foundation for them to build upon, and you organize content, you design content. That is part of your role in the curriculum as a teacher. And today we conclude by looking at the role of the teacher as a storyteller and as a parent, particularly as a mother. I don't want to sound feminist or what's the word, sexist. I don't know the right word, but I know it's as a parent, but I'm focusing on the mom, which of course even a dad can take the role. Okay, so but basically the way we understand mothers, I would use to explain. So generally, I don't know if, especially in Africa, let me start with the role of the teacher as a parent. In Africa, when a child does well, they say, you're your father's son, you're your father's daughter. But once the child misbehaves, they say, woman, look at your son. Woman, look at your daughter. That's because somehow the world generally, I think, and especially Africa, expects that the upbringing of a child and a child's success somehow is tied to the mom. Maybe because, their umbilical cord were inside of us, we were connected by the umbilical cord. And we carried them for like 9 months in our womb. So maybe that's why somehow nature, the world, kind of expects that a mother has that nurturing care and that deep connection with the child. Even the fathers, don't get me wrong, but you know what I mean. So the role of the teacher, if anything goes wrong, somehow it's expected that the mother can give an explanation. I remember growing up, if any of us aren't feeling too well and we go to the hospital, I can't remember now ever going alone with my dad. Most of the times it's with my mom, and she would be explaining to the doctor what is wrong with me. Even when they ask me a question, she might not even allow me answer. She'll be the one that will explain it to the doctor about how I am feeling. And most times it's not from her head. It's because she has observed keenly. She has asked me questions. She has tried feeding me. She has seen how either when I eat, I puke or something. She has put all of that together to understand my need and what is the problem. So she's able to correctly interpret my state to the doctor for diagnosis, right? And then even for food, making sure that everyone eats well, making sure that everyone is satisfied. Most times not, of course, everything, there are exceptions and it's not a rule, but most times it's the mothers are the ones who want to make sure food doesn't finish, even if it is father that is bringing the money or both of them, whatever. But they are the ones that will make sure that there is a timetable. They know what to cook, what they will eat. So as a teacher, it's important you understand your role as a parent. You're supposed to make sure there's protection, the environment is safe, it shouldn't be under your watch that a child will swallow a bead or will cut themselves with scissors. You know how you just have parents just have this eagle eye sometimes. Of course, even in parenting times, accidents happen, mistakes happen, but you want to make sure it is as it's not as serious, it's not too serious, it's not bad, and it's limited, it's reduced. So you want to have like an eagle eye over your class. Make sure there's provision, there's protection, there's care, that they are nurtured, that they are well looked after, well fed, that they are excited, that they are happy, that they are home, that they are safe. You need to make your classroom a home away from home, not a prison yard, not a kidnapper's den, not a dungeon, but a place where it's warm and cozy and home. You know, I don't know what other word to use, but home. And just in case you never really had a very good home or peace, maybe even from growing up and even as an adult, and so it's difficult for you to create that kind of space, then you learn, go and learn, go do courses and all of that. But by all means, make sure it's a home. Make sure it's like your dream home, then, even if you've not experienced about your dream home, the picture of your dream home, how kids are running around, they're happy, you know, there's fun, there are times to be serious, with times when we need to be serious and organized and pay attention to all this different stuff. Anyway, so that's that role of a parent. And lastly, the role of a storyteller. So in the curriculum, it's important that you learn the skill of telling stories. Now, mind you, stories can be scary. You can have horror stories, like in your horror movies. You can have fictional, you can have love stories, you can have war stories, you can have folk tales, you can have different kinds of stories. So find your unique storytelling niche that fits your topics, your lessons, your personality, and all of that. But most importantly, just connect. Draw from what you see happening across social media and cartoons and all of that. How are they able to grasp the attention of a child through a 1 hour movie or a series that happens, like, you know, again and again, and it looks like every time it's time for that program, the child is so excited and so happy? That's because there's an act of storytelling that directly impacts on the mind of a person or a child. Okay, so find a way to hone your storytelling skills as a teacher, because part of your role in the curriculum is to present it in a way that makes sense, that the child or the learner can connect with. And of course, storytelling can be different at different levels. You know, there's a creche and play group way of telling stories. I've seen how they do. And then there is that place where, you know, they are older, and your stories should appeal to them based on their age and their class, and not telling like Barney and Friends stories to SS3 class. You understand what I mean? So for this last two concluding part, I looked at your role as a parent, specifically more like a mother, and then your role as a storyteller. So in general, we've looked at a lawyer, we've looked at a lawyer, an architect, a coach, an incendiarist, a mother, a storyteller, and there's one more, gardener. That's the one I forgot. And a gardener. So please make sure that you remember all of these and don't be overwhelmed by them. It is very possible to seamlessly, you know, put all these roles together into one. And that is why I always say, even in another life, if there's anything like that, I still want to come back as an educator. It's quite a privilege. Yeah, I think an educator is the only one that has so many roles in one that you can exhibit and work in. So remember, like I always say, education is everyone's business. Support teachers as parents and as school leaders and as policymakers so that they can succeed. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. I look forward to your contributions, your questions, your suggestions, and you sharing your experience as well. I'd appreciate to read from you. Thank you, and see you as we take up the new stakeholder, a new stakeholder, which is the school leaders, the principals, the HODs, the level coordinators. As long as you're a school leader, your role in the curriculum. So take care and have a lovely time. Bye.